But anyway, let's go into our questions just because there's not much I like. Let's see. Ashley's got a picture upload. Wanted to share my trade. Let's check it out. I mean, you are trading in between a major surgery, like life-changing stuff. Um, if this was me, it would be red, 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 red. It would be like 10K, 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 red, 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 red. I would be like so worked up. But it looks like you had full control. You're slightly down. You're slightly down. Largest loss. This is a big issue. So thank you for sharing this because this is huge for new traders, and this is why people fail. I think I might do like a little mini class tomorrow, and it's just going to be why and how and stuff like that, and how I see traders fail, and what's the workings behind it. And it's always the same. It's always the same exact thing. And realistically, it's the same thing in life. It's the same thing in everything we do day in and day out. Why are Americans? I'm not saying you are, but why are most Americans, in debt? And it's because they make X amount of dollars, they'll spend, 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 spend. They might have some big cost or something like that is weighing them down, or maybe a little too much spending. And it's really the same thing with trading. If you are aiming for $100 a day, you should never ever get near these points. And this is a really good example, and I thank you for sharing this. I'm not slamming you in any way because this is what it takes, and you know exactly, what was happening. You can see it. You had two irrational days that just threw you way off, right? That's all it takes. So what happens is when we're day traders, all it takes is that one day to kind of set you off. And you're like, well, I'll bounce back. And then you're doing good, doing good, doing good, doing good, doing good, doing good, doing good. And then you have one more. And you're like, what the heck? There's my other one. And it's usually the fix behind it is so easy, right? Maybe you didn't, like you said right there, you didn't respect your stops. You knew what the problem was, right? This is what my path was like when I first started trading, when I was learning. I was doing good, I was treading water, I do good, 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 good. And I'd be like, all right, I might have watched a video on YouTube of some 15-year-old that made $1 million from just YOLOing something. I'm like, come on, like why can't I slam out a cool trade like that? And then I might have an irrational day, and then following that, like, all right, get back to what you're doing. That's not for you. And they usually what they would do is they would sneak up on me. It would look just like this exact same path. I would do good, do good, do good, and then give it all back. I'm like, what the heck? Like, what am I doing? And it really is just a lapse of judgment on that one day, just a split second. Maybe hitting the hotkeys a little too hard. Maybe, jumping in a little too fast. Maybe not getting out fast enough, right? When something was fading. Um, and it's usually it's a slight nuance. And every single time it was a little bit different. Adding too high on this one. Sold for a bigger loss. All right, well, don't add anymore. Don't chase. All right, won't do it. Buy a curl. Breakout, rejection, flush. Sell for a loss. I'm like, all right, don't do that again. And it's what I found on my path in learning how to day trade and stuff like this. And I'm still, I still test out things. I'm like, well, let me see if I can situate lower, sell a little bit higher. I'm always learning still. And I'll still do days like this. But now what's different is I have the track record that allows me to do this. So what a lot of traders do is they'll have this consistency, and then people message me all the time like, hey, I'm gonna I'm new. I've only been trading for like 3 4 months, even a year, and I'm making good money. I'm gonna try implement this new strategy I think will work. I'm like, no, like it's too soon. It's too soon. I'll tell them. I'm like, look, you found what is working for you. Don't change anything yet. And many times when I see new traders do this, they tried something. Did you try something here on the 26th? Did you try something different? Did you try something different on the 8th? And that was a big nuance that I would see for a lot of these traders, and they still do it. They're like, "Hey, I think I found the holy grail." I'm like, "No, you didn't." And I'll say it in the nicest way possible. But what happens is they will maybe make a little bit of money with no track record, and then it turns into they think they can now make their own strategy. I'm like, you do not, like, not, no offense, but you do not have enough experience, right, to do any of that, because this pattern could be gone within the next week. And a lot of my nuanced patterns have taken years and years and years for me to see them over and over again. A friend of mine went, they're like, hey, I'm going to learn from this girl. And then I have no problem with other educators at all. I think it's really cool that people put out their information out there. And it was a friend of mine's girl. She's like, and she liked this other company because it was a girl, which is fine. And she's like, "What do you think about her? I'm gonna learn from her. I'm gonna learn how to trade and stuff like this." My first off, I said, "Is she profitable?" Yeah, she's profitable. And then I'm like, "All right." I go, "How long has she been profitable?" Well, about a year. I'm like, "Oh boy, like don't you dare put any money towards anything." Because that's in the market, a year is just so new, right? We've seen what happened to most COVID traders. Most COVID traders made tons of money, which is cool, but then they also lost tons of money, right? Because they didn't know how to adapt to a changing market. Um, and yeah, when it comes down to a lot of changes in the market, it really only takes one single little mistake to ruin everything. To ruin everything. Especially it could ruin your month, your year, anything. Right? I could easily ruin my year this year in one day, easily, right? I could just load up, 50,000 shares on stocks that are sinking, thinking they're going to bounce. It just takes that one little bit. So just be careful with that. And thank you for sharing that, because it's very interesting, and